It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
The Pete Sousa Show. Here we are. We're live. By the way, shout out to the Hulkster. I'd forgotten to put his thing up yesterday. We are presented by Slovakics. We are live here in Central Texas. Pete Sousa alongside Scotty Swingler. A whole lot going on at the Rogue Media Network. Make sure you like and subscribe. The Pete Sousa Show. We're pushing towards 70,000 subscribers, and that's amazing. And it's so much fun to come in here and do this with you guys, and to wake up. And this morning I walked over here, so yesterday I said it was like Don Mattingly. When he used to speed to the ballpark, I was speeding to get here from Dallas, and this morning I was like quick walking, you know. Couldn't wait to get here. Thank you to Slovakics. Thank you to Crawford Austin Properties. Of course, Socorro Family Ford. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. Where's our Daniel Stark? There you go. Let's turn that the right way. Maybe I'll move it back. Yeah, so you can see it. Boom. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. And, of course, our good friends at Extraco Bank and First National Bank of Central Texas. I got to send Dan Ingham. Yesterday, Scotty helped me get set up, but we talked to Chris Williams in Oklahoma City on News 9 about the Big 12. And we got to send that over to Dan Ingham at First National Bank of Central Texas. He'll find that pretty interesting because he's an Oklahoma State guy. Yeah, they put the Pete Sousa show on the news yesterday talking about the Big 12. And Scotty, if you missed that one, you would have crapped your pants. I was saying how, or did you hear that? No, I was saying how Mike Gundy. This could be a surprise year for Oklahoma State. That's a team that I think nobody's talking about that could be good in the Big 12. What do you?
I think I've said this about 3 different teams in the Big 12. I feel this way about Colorado.
Yeah.
I feel this way about Oklahoma State. I feel this way about Utah.
Yeah.
They could win 2 games or 12.
Well, I use your
neither would shock me.
Yeah.
We have no idea if Oklahoma State's roster is good.
Yeah.
We have no clue. They might be.
Yeah.
We have no clue. But I like Gundy, obviously.
So let's just get into our debate right away because I don't want to.
I thought we were saving this, Pete.
Well, I don't feel as though the show will be as productive as it needs to be if we're both constantly thinking about this. So I think we should just put it out there.
I got to download it.
Air the grievances. Now, I will set this up for you. Yesterday, I was on Locked On Baylor with Cam Stewart.
If you need the clip, I've got the clip.
Okay. Is the clip ready?
Yeah.
All right, so Cam had me on. First of all, he sort of shanghaied me, which is fine. But, Scotty and I did a list of top 5 Big 12 coaches, and my list didn't include Dave Aranda. And, part of that was because I love him so much. I almost didn't want to show such preferential treatment. But I left him off the list, and I'm fine with that, like many other people would too on their lists. It's all subjective. So Cam, I was on his show. Of course, he does the Locked On Baylor thing. He starts the show off, and he's like, Dave Aranda, not one of the best 5 coaches in the Big 12, according to our next guest, coming up on Locked On Baylor. And then he does a quick intro, and then I'm just sitting there. And I was like, I do give you credit, Cam, because when you aggregate content and take it out of context, at least you say it right in front of your guest's face. So I was appreciative of that. But then we got into the list, and it was fine. It was like a civil, it was a good back and forth. But then we talked about Bill Belichick. I was mentioning the gravitas that comes with being an NFL coach, okay? And when you compare NFL coaches like Bill Belichick, forget about, being an NFL coach. This is Bill Belichick. In the discussion for one of the best coaches of all time in the NFL, okay? So here's how our back and forth, Cam and I, went yesterday.
To do a blind ACC ranking list, where's Bill Belichick? Top 3? I mean, he's bringing a lot of attention to North Carolina.
Bringing
a lot of money in.
I'd have to look at the list of coaches, but pardon my language, by the way, Locked On fam. But I would put Bill Belichick probably number 2.
That's wild, though, Pete. Like we know he's a great.
Why is it wild?
He hasn't coached in the conference. He hasn't coached in the conference.
He's coaching the ACC. That is not wild.
Like,
Bill
and you're
Belichick
talking to a Belichick guy.
Cam, Bill Belichick, your guy dominated the NFL.
I know.
He's coaching the ACC.
He's the best NFL coach ever.
Huh?
He's the best NFL coach ever, but he hasn't coached the ACC.
Jerry Glanville coaching him like the CFL 30 years after he left the Falcons. Like, this is like
Lovie Smith made a Super Bowl. Look, what did he do in Illinois?
So that was the conversation. Now I was like, hey Scotty, we got to run this, and of course, Mount Swingler erupted. Okay, and that's one of the reasons. This is why I love this guy so much as a passionate fan, just as much as a person. Probably a person a little more. This character is more suited for WWE. We're about to see here. So you couldn't disagree more.
I agree with Cam Stewart, who probably knows more about Bill Belichick than either of us.
No question. But I think.
Sorry, my microphone wasn't on. like an amateur. I said I probably agree with Cam Stewart, who knows more about Bill Belichick than you or I.
I said moments ago, and I wasn't trying to be a dick, but you sound like a guy who's lived in Waco like for most of his life. And here's what I mean. There is from where I'm from and from being from and bear the truth being from Chicago, right? Like when you live in a big city, and I didn't live in a big city, I lived in the suburbs of Philadelphia, but the NFL was always king. I swear to God, I'm trying to make sense of why we are so different on this. So the NFL has always been king. Now, my affiliation with college football and especially living here, I mean, I went to college to play football, got a scholarship. Like being here in Big 12 country, it's amazing. Football is very real. Being in Texas, it's unbelievable. And I've fallen further in love with college football. And that love continues to grow, right? Now, it's clear that there's a disconnect that I'm having with you guys. Because when I look at a list of coaches, right? Okay, Dabo Swinney, amazing. But now we're getting into, I mean, after Dabo, when you just look at name recognition, we go off a cliff, okay? And it's not about name recognition. I know you're about to say that, but for a guy from the big city, it is. And I'll tell you who else. I could guarantee that Brett Yormark would agree with my thinking, okay? Because it's a powerful way of.
I don't care what Brett Yormark thinks.
Well, he's the commissioner of Big 12, so you should, okay? But
he's interested in making money, not in one particular team winning.
But it's about making money, and winning is about making money.
Defining the best coach in the sport is not about making money.
It's the whole pot, and you have a very good argument. But let me just put this out there first, okay? Dabo Swinney, amazing, and I'm not trying to take a shot at these coaches because they're great coaches, college football coaches. Like, if I could ever be a college football coach, right? But Dabo Swinney, then we got Jeff Brom, Mario Cristobal, Rhett Lashley, Mike Norvell. These are just a couple. Brent Key. And I guarantee that 99% of you don't know that Brent Key is the head coach of
Brent Key is a good coach.
But he is. And he is a good coach.
He's a
but
really good coach.
Nobody knows who Brent Key is. If Brent Key walked into a 7-Eleven that you were in, you wouldn't know who he is. And neither would you. Maybe you would. Maybe. Okay? Then who else? Pat Narduzzi, Manny Diaz. Bill O'Brien, there you go. There's an NFL guy.
Yeah.
Fran Brown. I mean, so it's not out of this. My whole thing is the hyperbolic reaction to my opinion on this is it's more like one of those things like when they say the response wasn't warranted. That argument that I laid out with Cam is not something that is so from the moon that it's like, oh, I can't believe it. Like, you were calling me Skip Bayless today.
I was.
By no means am I.
I was. I think this is a very smoking hot, crazy take. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, to me, it's simple. It's simple. He's one of the best coaches walking the face of the earth. I'm not putting Jeff Brom in front of him. I'm not. I can't do it. Now go ahead.
All right. And because I've been thinking as you're talking about the argument I already had. My argument is these are not the same sport. We cannot name on one hand college football coaches who've been a crazy success in the NFL, nor NFL coaches who've been a crazy success in college football. Yeah. As you were talking, I was thinking, could we do that for basketball? Nope. It's a different sport. Okay, so again, one hand. Maybe we can name one or two in each sport, but can't do it for basketball. Certainly can't do it for baseball. You can't even do this for soccer. Like, Team USA just this past year hired a guy that's coached in the Premier League, and we were thinking, oh, man, he's going to make America such a better soccer nation, and we've gotten worse. So context matters so much. So my primary argument is if you're great in the NFL, you are not ever guaranteed to be great at coaching college football, and vice versa. It's a different sport. So you're viewing it as, well, it's the same sport and the NFL's harder. Therefore, if you can coach great in the NFL, you can coach great in college. I don't view it that way. I also, right before we went live, said coaching college football, I think, is actually way more difficult.
Well,
because you have to wear 10 different. You have to wear 10 different hats. You can't just lock yourself in a room and watch film and be great at football. Yeah. You have to be good with recruits. You have to be good with families. You have to be good with university admin. By the way, how's Bill Belichick doing in those departments thus far in his tenure? Very poorly. So I don't think he's a guaranteed success. I think if I had to bet on it right now, he will leave UNC with a losing record. And I bet he's gone within 3 years. We said that, by the way, when he got hired. He got hired at UNC, and everyone's like, that's weird. Could it work?
For sure.
Maybe. Like, if he won a national championship in 5 years,
I
would say, whoa, you were right. But we just have no evidence to think that would happen. So if you let me just finish with this. If you ask me right now, Scotty, you have you are an athletic director. Pick the school. I don't care. Pick the school. Hire an ACC coach to run your program. Belichick's 11th on my list.
Okay, that's
because
great.
Because there are 10 guys ahead of him who've proven it, who've won games. I pointed out to you, Duke went 9-3 last year.
Yeah, okay, it's a finite amount of time. You're talking about Manny Diaz?
Yeah.
The guy couldn't coach his way out of a paper bag at Miami. Like, this is a guy.
We don't know if Bill Belichick can or can't.
Yes, we do, because
We
we've seen
don't.
him win multiple Super Bowls. Scotty, what is the biggest day of the calendar year? The biggest day.
So I feel like
Super Bowl Sunday.
Correct.
Which is where
Absolutely.
he has captivated hundreds of millions of people time and time again.
I feel like your arguments for Bill Belichick as a coach are about recognition in pop culture, achievement in a different sport. Would you recognize him walking into a gas station?
Stuff that matters. Stuff is relevant.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody would recognize.
Point to me on this list and show me one. And this is the part of it that kind of blows me away.
Yeah.
We're not in the SEC.
I'm talking
here.
about
But
college.
Point to me a coach on this list who is
not
like
pop culture.
headed. Rhett Lashley.
Rhett Lashley's number 2 on my list. He just went to the college football playoff
he did.
at SMU.
Okay, but and that's the point.
That's
Nobody knows who the hell
remarkable.
Rhett Lashley is.
Okay, but he just went to the college football playoff at SMU.
Yeah, one
That's
year,
remarkable.
a first-round exit to the college football playoff. Bill
Is
Belichick
better
has
than Bill
won-
Belichick has
he
ever
needs a
done at the
Super Bowl
college
for his
level.
cock, or a ring, like for his. He does. Like that. This guy is.
I don't know where we just went.
Well, no, but really,
Okay.
like he's that
All right.
good.
All right. So I've been trying to just make the Bill Belichick hasn't proven anything at the college football level, and it's a different sport argument. Let's pull out the argument that you hate. You hate. What is Bill Belichick's record as an NFL head coach?
Okay, now can I tell you,
When Tom Brady
you're
is not
probably
playing
winning
quarterback.
this argument in the court of public opinion until this crap, because
It's true.
this is
It's just
complete
true.
fantasy land. Let's go to fantasy land.
It's statistics.
Let's head over.
It's statistics. The statistics are Bill Belichick, when any quarterback not named Tom Brady is playing, is 84-103. Quarterback matters. It doesn't take away from his Hall of Fame legacy. I think he's an NFL Hall of Fame coach. I rank him as the second greatest head coach in the NFL of all time behind Andy Reid. I don't think that's crazy. All that to say, Tom Brady's not playing quarterback at UNC this year. So here's my bet, and I will bet you lunch on this. I'll bet you lunch on this.
Okay.
Mac Brown won 6 games at UNC last year.
Okay.
I'm taking the under. I
We're
think
we're doing dinner.
Okay, let's do dinner.
Yeah.
You want to bet right now? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Mac Brown, by the way, great all-time college football coach. Much respect.
Yeah.
Won
He was
6 games
awesome.
last season and got fired.
All right, hold on.
I bet Belichick wins 5 or less.
I'm going to do one thing before we go through this, bet. And if you want to keep trumpeting your Tom Brady propaganda, that's fine.
It's not propaganda. It is statistics. He went 84-103 in his NFL coaching career without Brady. Brady left and won another Super Bowl.
All right, TCU, UNC. I'm going to say that's 0-1. That's a loss.
Oh, he's going through the schedule.
All right, September, UNC versus Charlotte. Win. On the road in Charlotte, by the way. Richmond, my alma mater, Spiders.
They're playing Richmond.
Yeah. In
Oh,
week
that's
3.
weak, UNC.
So they win that 2-1. UNC at UCF. They're going to lose that, so they're 2-2. No, they're going to win.
You have them losing
They're
to
gonna
one
win
of the
that.
worst teams in
They're
the Big
gonna win
12.
that.
We're
They're
off
gonna
to a
win
great
that.
start.
But that's honestly, Scotty, this is a reflection of how I feel about the ACC when it matters.
Okay,
Because I'm a big
here's my
conference to conference.
So here's my
guy.
question: if Belichick can't make a bowl game in the
Yeah.
ACC, can we concede he's not a good college football coach?
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
A lot of times too, these guys. If you notice too, the guys that go to the NFL to college, they have no stick-to-itiveness because they've already been in pursuit of the Holy Grail at the NFL, and maybe it's an ego thing, or maybe it's this is too much for me, but they always go right back. They don't spend a lot of time.
That's part of why he's not a good college. That's part of
All right,
why he's
so
not
hold on.
good.
So we're 3-1 here. Clemson, nope, 3-2. At Cal, I'll say 4-2 because this is part of my UVA 5-2. Syracuse, we'll say 6-3. Stanford.
Fran Brown is going to wipe the floor with him.
Stanford 7-3.
Wow.
Wake Forest 8-3.
Let's make the bet.
Duke 9-4. NC State. I'll say they're going to go 9-5. Is that many games? Did I get that math right?
Do I get the under on 9?
14. There's 14 goddamn games.
No, you did math really funny. I don't know what just happened.
3, 4,
do
5,
I get
6,
the under on 9? Because I will take that with
9,
odds.
10, 11, 12. Yeah, I don't know where I got 9-4. That's my. Oh no, that's right. Okay.
So I think he wins 5. You think he wins 9?
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So where's the bet?
Let's go to Diamondbacks.
All right. But where are we setting the over under at 6?
Yeah, no Vegas odds, dude.
Oh, we're gonna do the Vegas line.
No, or you can do no. We'll do the Mac Brown odds.
I'm telling you, he will. Yeah, I'll take that bet.
All right, let's go.
You heard it here, folks.
All right.
Hey, let me end with a comment from my boy.
Let's do a couple comments, and then we do have a show to do. This was completely organic and exploded.
We were screaming at each other before we went live, so we had to do this. I think Bear the Truth nailed it. By the way, my friend Brian. By the way, for all the you sound like you grew up in a team without. You sound like an elite Northeasterner who doesn't love college football. Like I grew up here.
Well, and maybe that's part of the disconnect.
It might be because in Texas, it's not only college football. It's like we care about high school football more than the NFL in a lot of cases.
Yeah, which is
matters. It matters.
I have a mad respect for that.
Yeah,
I do. I can't.
We're gonna end on good terms here, folks, and better terms when Belichick wins 5 games and I get Diamondbacks on Pete. Bear the Truth says being good for the game is different than being a great college coach. Sanders and Belichick are both good for their respective conferences and the college game in general, but that has nothing to do with being a winning coach in the NCAA. I agree. I think that is a very nuanced, smart way to look at it. Meanwhile, Kevin Fisher says, my go-to source for all things Big 12.
K. Fish is the man.
Pete Sousa.
Anybody else? Anything from?
It's just those two guys.
Okay.
Scotty B is quiet this morning.
All right, Scotty B, wake up. We're going to take a break. We are going to try to come back down to earth. That's one of the main reasons. One of the many reasons I love Scotty, though. He just brings the friggin' juice, dude. He brings the juice, and you gotta love that. We are going to come back, and we're going to talk about something else that'll make him excited. But we got to pour some water on him and have him settle down. Luka Doncic, this whole body thing, this Men's Health cover story it debuted right after our show yesterday. We got to talk about this. Quick break. Do we have to take the 4-minute break still? Quick break. It's going to be shorter than that mentally for you. We'll be right back after this.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At FullWell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. FullWell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at FullWellFertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion-resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoallusa.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
All right, a couple things to get into here on the Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics. This is work I'm doing here. All right, we want to talk about Luka. I wanted to make sure I get everything. Okay, so Luka, we're going to talk a little bit about the show Hunting Wives, and Scott Drew is going to make a major announcement connected to that show. I'll tell you about that, wink, wink, in a little bit. And also BYU has a quarterback. I think they do. And these are segments we'll be efforting getting to before the end of the show. And we also want to talk about Deion Sanders, just why he's absolutely amazing. So those are all segments we have outlined. The Luka one, I've got to get in right now. We missed it yesterday because the story kind of splashed onto the scene after we went off the air. But let's throw a picture up, Scotty, of Luka Doncic in this new body. Here it is. Now, what I found interesting about this article, and I'm going to get the negativity out of the way off the top. The guy who wrote the story, I guess Luka was in Croatia, so he did the interview over Zoom. Whoa. So he did the interview over Zoom, right?
Was he in Croatia or his home of Slovenia?
No, it said Croatia.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's been doing two-a-days in Croatia. So the guy did the interview over Zoom, and credit to the author, he references it right away. Like, Luka, his arms looked toned, like, through the Zoom. You know, something like that. So it was kind of like, I get it. Like, you're addressing it early, so you're not blowing smoke up our rear end, but that is kind of weak. If you're going to do a story about a guy's physical prowess and you're not even there in person, I know Croatia's a tough get. But that's a little sus. And these pictures, I would imagine they came from Luka. I can't be sure of that, but Nick Wright yesterday was saying, like, Scotty, do you think there's any, let me ask you, is there any AI element to any of this?
No.
Okay, I agree. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, so we talk about Luka's body, okay? He says visually, my body just looks totally different. He said that on the record. And I think the one thing about this where you don't think it's smoke and mirrors is because we love Luka. He's done nothing to show us that he would be anything but straightforward, right? Now, how do we get here? That trade on February 1st was egregious, something Scotty and I can still agree on to this day. Absolutely insane. And let's just go through Luka's last season, how we got to what is a very cushy bottom when you're making so much money and you're one of the best in the NBA. But it had the calf injury last year, right? Then the trade happens in February. Then he flat out, so he's crushed. His soul is crushed. Then he gets body shamed, like he does. Sorry, he does. By the Mavs, right? Their front office, and other people who are carrying water for the organization. And that was frustrating. And I'm sure it was frustrating for Luka, right? Then you have your playoff exit in 5 games, but really before May, to Minnesota. That was debilitating. And so you end up on First Take again every morning where everybody's talking about how defensively you're a traffic cone. Now, let's not lose sight of the fact that he averaged basically 30 points a game and 9 rebounds again last year. He's never played less than 60 games. So if this guy's going to get better, it's going to be terrifying. Terrifying for people, okay? Now, I would think basketball-wise, right? Now, and I went over this months ago when we talked about Luka's strength. He has strength like a bull, period, right? He does. That's one of the reasons he's so effective. And I made the comparison like, man, Luther Vandross never really hit me quite the same when he lost all of his weight. He just didn't, right? Now, basketball is a little different than singing soul music and R&B. So Luka does need to be able to move without the ball offensively better. He needs to be able to stay in front of guys better defensively. He's also, part of his weight loss regimen and program is gaining muscle. So I would imagine he still will keep that bull-like strength and have quicker feet, less body to move around with, right? This is all obvious stuff. And hopefully he'll be able to stay healthy, too, and play deeper into the playoffs. Or remain 150% when his team gets into the playoffs. I think we look back on some of those NBA Finals games against the Celtics, and there was fatigue there. We saw that. This is a kid who was drafted into the NBA at 18. Worked pretty closely with trainers in Dallas and did a pretty good job of keeping his body together. But admittedly, in this article, we'll go back overseas in the offseason and just load up on whatever. It's not necessarily the best diet you should follow. Now, we talked about the 2-a-days in Croatia. He is on a low-sugar diet, gluten-free. Some of the stuff this summer has included intermittent fasting. And I also look at this as, all of this stuff happened that I mentioned. The playoff exit was the last thing. And that was his bottom. And when he hit his bottom, he decided, I'm actually going to do something about it. In life, often what happens is something happens before something actually happens. What do I mean? Like, it takes something like seismic for human beings to make a change. That's a fact. That was me when I stopped drinking. Like, I had hit this like hardcore bottom where it was like I had to make a change. I was desperate, right? Obviously, Luka Doncic and his body is much different, but at the same time, he had hit a personal and emotional low, I'm assuming, with all the noise that's going on. Like, it was hurtful. And by the way, a sad Luka went on to play great for the Lakers. A sad guy. Now, think about this year, what an inspired, maybe a little more confident guy, how he will play, right? And he's got that revenge bod, right? Like, that's what this is. He's looking to exact revenge on the Mavs and the rest of the NBA and it should be like super interesting because some of the greats in the game, Michael Jordan, for one, after he got his ass banged around against the Pistons, and even some of Pat Riley's Knicks, he knew that strength training was going to have to be at the center of his commitment. And it was, and we saw what happened, right? Same thing with Kobe. I mean, Kobe got into the weight room, became stronger. Like, there is a time, first of all, these guys are great for a reason because they're just exceptional and elite. But there is always a time when these great players, right, hit a wall, and it's like, can you break through? Luka's instance is like so perfect of a storm for him to now just go on a spree for the rest of his career. Can he keep it going? Can he sustain it? That remains to be seen. But right now, if what we're seeing from Luka Doncic is to continue, right, and I believe it would because of the instance that got him here, right? Like, that was a really rough time on this kid, dude. 26 years old, call him a kid. Really rough, a dark time. And then on the back end of the trade, there wasn't a ton of success. There was a little, but when you get to the playoffs and you lose that early, it's an unsuccessful season. So something always has to happen for something to happen. And I will tell you, it is happening right now for Luka Doncic. And it's going to be so exciting to see how he does this year. And yeah, I'm pumped. Not that anybody cares, but Big Perk says he's going to be the MVP. Let's see if I any. Okay, here's a list too, by the way. Out of shape athletes that were successful. Okay, and this is a great example of why you need to get in shape because a lot of these guys didn't actually meet their full potential. I don't know that any of them did. All right, Babe Ruth. He reached his full potential, but that was Babe Ruth. Like, do we really even know that Babe Ruth existed? We do, but I wasn't there. Diego Maradona was one. That's pretty good, right? Donovan McNabb, yeah, for sure. We talked about him yesterday. Miguel Cabrera is a good one. I always felt like he was out of shape. Now, when I was a kid, John Kruk was a Philly. He was definitely always out of shape, but he was extremely productive, and I'm not sure baseball matters. Sean Kemp became terribly overweight and out of shape, and that was a bummer. These are just some of the all-time greats. Did I mention Shaq? Shaq did not reach his full potential. Much as you love him, he didn't. And John Daly's another one on the golf course. Those were just off the top of my head. You don't want to be in that category. You just don't, unless you're Babe Ruth. So I think Luka is working his way out of that. I think he has already. And I'm stoked to see what he has for us next season. Okay, switching gears, we're going to stay in Texas. Last night, I was introduced to the show Hunting Wives. It was one of those deals where I had 3 people tell me about it in a single day. And I heard it on the Bill Simmons podcast. My good friend Matt Davis had told me about it. And I'd heard it mentioned in conversation a couple times prior to that. So I guess 2 people told me about it yesterday, one of them being Bill Simmons, not like a call friend. But so I was compelled to watch it. And Malin Ackerman is like the star, okay? Dermot Mulroney is in it too. Malin Ackerman plays this Texas housewife, East Texas housewife, who's from like a rough, awful background, but she's escaped it through her marriage to this super successful guy. He seems like he's a tycoon of some sort, very wealthy. In the show, he's kicking around the idea of throwing his hat in to run for governor and challenge Greg Abbott, which is like so awesome, okay? The show is like ridiculously racy to the point where it makes me uncomfortable in a room by myself. Like, and that's not a lie. I'm like, whoa. It's just, there's a lot, there's some of it. And some of it is like a reflection of what society is today. Like every time we turn around, we see another grown woman getting arrested for making out with a kid who she taught or is a friend of her son's or whatever. And like, there's some of that in this. So every time I'm like, oh my God, this is too bizarre. I can't believe it. Then I'm like, well, it does happen, but the show is off the rails. It's some good brain candy, but he's off the rails. It's off the rails. But then they took a shot at Scott Drew. And that was a bridge too far for me. I will probably continue to watch the show, by the way. It's such trash, and I think I watched 3 episodes last night. But I do love Malin Ackerman. She's funny, and she's very – you really can't take your eyes off her in this show. She is – and it's funny because when she was in what was that show about what was his name? Bobby Axelrod, where he was a new – do you know what I'm talking about? It was a Showtime show. Hold on, I'll tell you. Let me just look up Bobby Axelrod. Axe Capital. Yeah. The show was Billions. So she was Bobby Axelrod's husband in Billions, which was a good show, but it was one of those ones that just got a little too long for me. I bailed on it eventually. But so Malin Ackerman, I thought she was kind of a dud in that show. In this show, she's just on fire. Owns the screen. But there is a point early in the show, and Scott, I put together a clip, and Netflix, thank you for not taking this down in advance, although you probably, YouTube, we appreciate it, although you just might. But I was appalled at this moment that actually happens in the first episode. A woman whose husband is a preacher, again, East Texas family. Let's just take a look. Let's run the clips.
Come on, Brad, let's go.
Like we did in practice, Jamie. Drive. Let's go.
Hi, Abby. Hi, Star. Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
So I didn't set that up right. So because I thought I had a clip that with the front end of that clip, okay, they're at a cocktail party. And that woman in the stands announces to a group of women, and this is like a carrot for her to dangle and also like to lord over them with. She says, I have to go to my son's scrimmage, right? Brad Thompson. He got a scholarship to Baylor. He's playing in a summer league just to kind of stay ready, okay? So now this is our scholarship commit to Baylor that is coming to Waco to play in the Big 12, okay? Now let's look. I mean, this is not Ish Wainwright we're talking about, right? He's kind of a big guy. He uses his body to get down low against a bunch of guys who look like they should be throwing newspapers on your front lawn. So take that into consideration. But what are we watching here? Let's go.
Good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Woo. Let's go. Woo. Come on, Brad.
Let's go. Shower, boys. Good scrimmage.
You know I do that. You like that? Yeah.
Come on, Brad, let's go.
Like we did in practice, Jamie. Drive. Let's go.
How many college players are going to look down?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Great help side defense. Clearly communicates.
Come on, Brad.
This was a game winner.
Let's go. Shower, boys. Good scrimmage.
Okay, so if
it's really hard to make actors look like they're NCAA level athletes.
What star of a recruit is that to you? Like, is Scott Drew doing somebody a favor there?
And the idea is like East Texas small school
East
kid?
Texas small school.
Yeah, he's a preferred walk on actually. But
he's a scout. She said he got a scout. Now,
yeah,
maybe she had a couple glasses of wine and she's lying.
Yeah. He know coach. His dad knows Scott somehow. And Scott's just giving him the last roster spot.
So that's it. So and I bet his wife is lying because on this show, lying is.
Well, then she's definitely lying because that kid could not sniff a scholarship in
the
Big 12, let alone at Baylor.
He's terrible, and he looked down when he dribbled, which was really eye-opening to me. And so here's why, Scott. This is a message to Coach Drew. We're going to revoke his scholarship, okay? Because the behavior that this young man, Brad Thompson, exhibits on this show. First of all, he treats women terribly. All the guys on this show do. And it's not a reflection of Texas, by the way. Let me tell you that right away. Like they paint this picture, and it's a caricature of, it's nonfiction, okay? But they paint this picture like guys in Texas treat their wives like, you do what I say. Like it's all fun and games, but if there's an impasse, it's like, no, you're going to do it. Like, so this guy Brad is early on in his education of how to treat women poorly, just treating everybody like crap, particularly his girlfriend, as he works to carry on an affair with a married woman. Wild stuff, not Baylor material at all. So basically, we have conduct now that we've discovered about this young man, Brad Thompson, which has enabled us to pull his scholarship, right? So it's gone. That's conduct detrimental to the university. There was a clause in there. You cannot treat young women awfully and sexually exploit them. And we don't like the behavior of you carrying on an affair with one of your friend's moms. It's not happening. Not at Baylor. Go somewhere else. Call Dave Bliss. We've turned the page. We have turned the page, okay? The Pete Sousa Show is turning the page too. Hunting wives, I don't know. I honestly, I can't put my name on that. I can't recommend that to anybody. I can't put my name on it. It is so racy, I almost walked out of my own apartment. Like I was that uncomfortable. We'll be right back.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kitbag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's kitbag.com. Kitbag.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. Just a quick update on the that horrible situation that happened yesterday in New York. New York City Mayor, this is according to ESPN. This is just a quick update. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said Tuesday that a gunman who killed 4 people at a Manhattan office building was targeting the headquarters of the NFL, but he took the wrong elevator up. Police said the guy whose name is Shane Tamura had a history of mental illness, and a note found on his body suggested the former high school football player had a grievance against the NFL over an unsubstantiated claim that he'd suffered from CTE. This is someone who'd struggled with mental health. It was documented in 2022 and again in 2024. I guess there were interactions with the police, and 4 people died. One of them was a police officer, and it's just like crazy. So not much more to say about that than it was awful, is awful, and we'll continue to provide you updates when we get them. But it's puts a lot of things, man. It makes you see makes me grateful to just be walking around today, and sad for anybody involved with that. Tough to transition, but we're gonna try. And head back to the football field. Yesterday I talked at the top of the show. I joined Chris Williams on News 9 in Oklahoma City, and we talked about that Oklahoma State opened their training camp yesterday. Oklahoma is opening theirs on Wednesday. Chris was asking me for this segment. You wanted to talk about Oklahoma State. Where could they rank? And I said, look, man, like, what kind of season is Oklahoma State going to have? Well, you got to figure out the quarterback situation. Hoss Haney is a guy who comes to Oklahoma State, and he comes with Doug Meacham, who was his offensive coordinator at TCU. They both transferred from TCU. Meacham obviously switching jobs. So I would say that he's the early favorite in the clubhouse. He's the guy that excites me the most for Oklahoma State. Zane Flores as well is in the mix. But that's a quarterback battle. Mike Gundy, I think, will keep his cards close to the vest, right? And I don't think he will be announcing a quarterback up until the last moment when he absolutely has to. Same thing for BYU. Yesterday, Hans Olsen, BYU's radio announcer, radio analyst, who has actually joined us on Inside the 12, great dude, cousin of Merlin Olsen, the NFL great with the Rams, and of course BYU product. I think Merlin Olsen actually went to Utah State. But Hans Olsen played in the NFL, played in the Arena League, and nobody knows BYU football better than he does. He spoke yesterday about the fact that McKay Hillstead, it is his job to lose. And the reason why is that McKay Hillstead right now provides BYU with the best chance to win games right now. And BYU has a hell of a team, right? So you want almost more of a facilitator with experience that can get out of trouble. And that's what McKay Hillstead can do. He's a dual threat. So that's someone who maybe you could turn the keys over to early and say, okay, this is your job, right? Let's build around you through these weeks of training camp we have. Let's give you all the reps. Like, I think that's what Aaron Roderick would want to see. BYU's offensive coordinator. Now, whether or not Hillstead will take this, right, will rip it out of the hands of guys like Bear Bachmeier remains to be seen. I think when you look at that, I was super excited about Bear Bachmeier coming to BYU. And ultimately, you know, you got Ryder Lyons in the rear view, but Bear Bachmeier is the guy with the most natural ability and skill on that roster in that quarterback room that is the, you know, for lack of a better term, when talking about BYU, the sexiest guy. I would want to see, as a BYU fan, Bear Bachmeier emerge as the number one quarterback, because I think that it's just like your ceiling is now all of a sudden sky high, right? Because if Bear Bachmeier is getting that job, he's showing Kalani Sitake and the coaching staff and Roderick that this is my job. You know, I'm the guy. So if a guy like Bear Bachmeier were to emerge as a starting quarterback, I would say that's actually better news. But right now the job is McKay Hillstead's. Maybe not quite as exciting. And this is according to Hans Olsen, who is way more dialed in to BYU football than most people I've communicated with in this media world we're in. I think that I had another point about BYU. Oh, yeah. Tyson Bourguet is someone else who's in the mix, much bigger arm, not quite as mobile, and don't count him out either. But right now, I would say it's Hillstead's job to lose, right? After that, I think your excitement is around Bear Bachmeier, and you don't count out Tyson Bourguet. Now, Bear Bachmeier, I think this would be his job if he didn't miss spring ball. And he literally, he is hitting the ground running now, right? And he's a freshman. So he does come over with his brother. I don't know if that means anything. But so if I'm a BYU fan, I want Bear Bachmeier to emerge as the number one. But I think it's more than likely that it's going to be McKay Hillstead. And truthfully, I think you turn over your will. Like we talk about this in AA, like when I got sober, right? You got to turn over your will to a higher power, right? As a BYU fan, I know this is hard, but you just got to turn your will over to your coaching staff and be like, they're going to make the right decision, right? Because it's a high-stakes decision. The folks in Provo want to capitalize off of last year, and they should, because they've only gotten better. And it's going to be pretty cool to see how that plays out this year. One more Big 12 note. We talked to Kevin Borber yesterday from Locked On Buffs, and he shared with us his thoughts about Colorado and what they're looking to do this season. You know, Coach Prime himself says maybe not as many stars, but a better team. I think the number one star is Coach Prime. And yesterday he exhibited why he is such a mainstay in society for us, right? We almost saw a different side of Coach Prime. And the reason that someone like me gets so hung up on Deion Sanders is because it's somebody who's I'm in my mid-40s. Deion's been in my life since I'm like 7 years old. The whole way. And honestly, it's been all fun. Like, that is, he, as a dual sport athlete, you know, when he played for the Braves and the Reds and the Yankees, like, Deion Sanders could have been an everyday player in Major League Baseball had that been his goal and his mission. He had some amazing sparks that he showed, especially with the Braves, but and maybe a little less notable because he really wasn't very good when he was with the Yankees. But, like, he had an inside the park home run against the Royals when he was with the Yankees. It was just like take your breath away stuff. And he was good enough to play a game for the Falcons and then take a chopper to play in the playoffs for the Braves. Like, that's how good this dude was. And that was a big story. And maybe he made it a little bit about himself as a young man, but who cares? Okay? And he was the old story goes when he was in the meeting room with Jerry Glanville, and I heard this from Jerry Glanville when I used to work for, McShay and I worked for the War Room, Scouts Inc., and we would do stuff with the CBS NFL Today crew when Glanville was on. Glanville would say Deion would be asleep in the meeting room, and Glanville would be like, Deion, wake up. Deion would wake up, and he would just say, Coach, I got one guy. and he would go back to sleep, and that's who he was. He was a lockdown corner that was going to shut down your best wide receivers. And he was also a lethal punt returner and wide receiver, right? So he collects Super Bowls. He also produces children who play football. So he goes from player to analyst to, he's on the NFL Network for a while, doing a great job. And now he's a coach. And that's when I think I had moved to Texas at the time. So this is like 2016. And I know Deion Jr. played for SMU. And it was just kind of like, not necessarily like a noteworthy career, but Deion was, and this is just me and my memories and recall of this, but Deion was heavily involved in coaching his sons in North Texas. And that was exciting to me just to hear that he was back in football. And then the Jackson State stuff, everybody was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And then you saw what he started to do. This was right around COVID. I remember, a friend of mine, who was actually a woman, who was like, what's Deion Sanders doing? And she was a Cowboys fan. She kept saying, what's Deion Sanders doing? And he was on Barstool all the time. So then he brokers a deal with Barstool. He's just like always one step ahead, right? And he gets to college and people are like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. His first year is rough. Even watching their opening game last year against North Dakota State, I was like, man, this is rough. These guys could be in trouble. And like, he just believes. Like, there's something about this dude, right? And obviously last year, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders didn't hurt. But like, you talk about a power greater than. This guy's got it, right? So yesterday, and the reason I say that is because they turned the season around last year. They have a great year, by all accounts. Flirt with the college football playoff. Didn't get in. Okay, fine. They lost the Alamo Bowl. It was not like a great end of the season by any stretch. But even the little stuff, like Coach Prime had all his guys playing in those games. Like, it's just like, he's old school too. And yesterday he goes to the podium. We knew he was going to have that press conference. We talked to Borba about it. And he mentions that he's had bladder cancer and his doctors, note, most importantly, that he's beaten it. And then he starts to talk about, like, now this is the definition of cool, Deion Sanders. It doesn't get any cooler. Like, the guy gets better looking with age, like that salt and pepper beard, like on the sidelines. Like, it makes you like, it's like, is my girl going to fall in love with this guy? Because he's that cool. He's that smooth, because I know if he walked into a room, he could probably have her. I don't think so, Christy, right? Let's be real. But this guy who personifies cool is now talking about bladder cancer, how he had his whole bladder removed, and what life is like after that. And now he depends on depends. Like, outside of erectile dysfunction, I would say incontinence is probably up there 1 and 2. We could tango right back and forth for what's the most uncomfortable thing for dudes to talk about. And here is the coolest guy out there talking about men got to get checked out. I have no control over my bladder. I have to wear Depends. I'm going to the bathroom basically all the time when I don't want to. And it's like, wow. Like, that was like so powerful and revealing. And it was so authentic. And it was interesting to me because it's not like, I watched a documentary over the weekend. It was called An Update on Our Family. And it was like so screwed up. It was about this woman, Michaela Stauffer, and she was a YouTuber. And she had accumulated a ton of viewership and viewers and subscribers. And it was like, what can I do next? Because she adopted a kid and she saw that her traffic spiked big time. So it's like, I'm going to adopt another one. It was crazy time. Like, that was like scripted reality, right? Like, this woman was like, I got to keep it going. I got to keep it going. Deion doesn't need to script anything, dude. He is that interesting and he's that inspiring. And I thought the way that he handled that yesterday was, Scotty, you texted me, dude. You were like emotional about it. He can't even talk right now.
Yeah, I was struck by, I think my thought was just consistent. Like, this is what real men look like. And just overwhelmed and impressed by, not that, yes, overwhelmed and impressed by, he's gone through this, he's beaten cancer, he still wants to coach football.
Yeah,
which is wild.
Yeah,
like wild. But overwhelmed and impressed by he's still prime. Like that press conference yesterday, if you didn't listen to the words actually coming from his mouth, you'd have no idea the depth of like struggle and difficulty that's been caused, because he was smiling and confident and cocky. And I loved that someone asked him, how much are you relying on your assistants? And he goes, I'm back, baby. As in, like, what are you asking me about my assistants for? I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
And it really did make me emotional, man. And on top of that, talking about his faith, and your mileage may vary on how you feel about faith, but, like, that's what an authentic man looks like.
Yeah.
He is strong. He is still himself. He has his priorities where he thinks they need to be. And I loved his whole takeaway from all of this is not, and he said this very explicitly, it's not like, why am I going through this, or this is so hard.
Never why me.
Or like, it was always, how can I use this to better other people? And he talked about, like you said, men go get checked up, like go to the doctor, take care of your health. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That and I don't want to overuse this word, but really and truly, I saw that. I was like, that's what a hero is.
And you and I are so aligned in this because Aaron Torres, who has been a guest on this show, tweeted out, how can you, like, anybody that hate, this is kind of a weird way to put it because people do, like, it's kind of the sports hate thing, but he's like, anybody that hates Deion Sanders, like you're out of your mind. You know what I mean?
I can't understand. I think he said, I can't understand you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and Scotty both retweeted it.
Yeah.
I looked at who else, and I saw Scotty. Because it was just like, I mean, I was, first of all, you're so happy he's okay. And one football thing, too, because Cam tried to, like, mention this yesterday when I was on Locked on Baylor. He said, you know, some people thought, well, maybe this is an opportunity, his health. Nobody knew about the cancer. This is the scuttlebutt before the press conference. Shador and Travis are gone. You know, his kids are gone. Shiloh's gone. Like, maybe this is a way for him to kind of,
exit.
Yeah. No. So one, that speaks to, obviously, just the inferno of a man that he is. And two, that I think he thinks Colorado's pretty good.
Well, and he made a statement of, like, I'm not leaving until we get a third championship at Colorado.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, I love that mentality. Like I said, he's a hero for all of that. Yeah. And I had one guy reply to me because I tweeted about Deion Sanders just showed you what strength looks like. I'm rooting for Deion. Like I think I even said in the tweet, I'm Baylor all the way, but I am rooting for Coach Prime.
Yeah.
You know, how can you not? And I got one response from an anonymous Baylor account that was like, Scotty, are you serious right now? And I'm like, and I literally was like, brother, we should celebrate this.
Yeah.
I don't care how you feel about personality, how you feel about your team versus their team. I don't care how. This is one of those truly, like, bigger than sports, human moments that I don't know how you can not root for him, love him, want him to be successful. God, it just, and I'm so thankful too. Like with all the negative press around Shador.
I was just thinking that
with all the negativity,
with all the negativity everywhere.
It's like, hey, this again, to me, this is an example of what being a good human, but really, like, if we want to personalize, like, manhood looks like.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, and it was very cool to see such an authentic representation of goodness up there. That's what I thought I was watching.
Me too.
Anything else from the comments before we go?
Coach Prime is good for college football.
Yeah, he is.
Not much else.
Bear
the Truth thinks you're moving to Boulder.
No, I'm not.
It's pretty fun up there, though. It's a nice place.
Awesome up there. One thing I will say, and speaking of Bear the Truth, the last thing I promise, because this won't be the proper eulogy, but Ryan Sandberg passed away at 65 from cancer. Now, I'll just say this. As a kid growing up, you get home from school, St. Thomas Good Counsel for me, nothing's going on. And your parents, are at work, your brothers are maybe doing what they're doing. And, you're watching TV or running outside and playing sports. WGN, the cable network, brought the Cubs into my home. And in doing so, they brought Ryan Sandberg into my home. And I became, as little kids can be, even me as an adult sometimes, I got swept up in the magic of Wrigley Field and the Cubs. Leon Durham, Jody Davis, Ron Say, Ryan Sandberg, Sean Dunston had a cannon at shortstop, right? I just became a Cubs fan. And Ryan Sandberg was my favorite player. And I had a Cubs jersey. And it was all because of him. And there was just something I was super attracted to about that dude as a player, probably because he was awesome. And he seemed like a great guy that had what I wanted as a kid. Like, he was a real upstanding dude. So that's a rough one for everybody. And it's weird because he was such an understated personality. I'm not quite sure on the back end that his accomplishments as a player will be as celebrated as they should. Also because the Cubs, they made it to the one National League Championship Series in '84, and they lost to the Padres. And that was as close, I think, as Ryan Sandberg got to a World Series. So RIP to a legend. What's Bear the Truth's comment, Scotty? Just real quick. We'll go out with that because I know he's a Sandberg guy. Harry calling it all. Yeah. Well, they get to hang out in the sky now, right? Pete Sousa Show. We're back tomorrow. Went a little long today. That's because we love this. Thank you, Scotty. Great job. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.